So welcome to day 100 of scaling my marketing agency to 10k a month. I thought today would be a good time and a good essentially place to record a video talking about what were my goals just before this year started, before I started this series, when I came up with the idea to do it. And then, yeah, exactly what's happened up to today, it being the kind of first of the triple digits days, and the fact that even though kind of like the year so far has gone really quickly already, you know, it's 100 days in and there's still like another 265 to go, you know, so it's like it's not like time is completely disappearing, like, you know, there's still a lot of the year left essentially, but it has gone quick up to now, and I wanted to, you know, keep myself in check and also celebrate some of the successes that I've had up to today's date. Just before then, like essentially 10th of April today, a Friday. Not like the biggest day, didn't really have many meetings. I had an intro call that I set into a proper sales call for next week, and that seems quite well qualified. It's somebody that knows what he's speaking about, and he is working with an agency at the minute that doesn't seem to be performing to the best of their ability. So yeah, go through that with him next week and see how that goes. It could be something very good from that. We'll see then in a few videos time. Apart from that, I had an update call with the virtual assistant I hired, who's kind of doing all the booking on and, you know, basically calling all the leads for me on like my leads and all the clinic leads. She did her first 2 weeks. It's taken a bit longer than expected to get some of the new clients' campaigns running, which is, there's kind of like, it kind of goes two ways. There's more that I could have done to maybe speed some up, but some of them are just like little things, like they're just not ready for it for whatever reason, and had to delay it a little bit. But things are really coming together with that, and in the next few days I'll have a couple campaigns live, and then there's another 2 to go live after that as well. So yeah, I got like 4 or 5 clients active at all the same time in the coming days and weeks, right as I'm moving back as well. So it's going to be a busy time for sure. So I had an update call with her essentially to say, this is the end of your 2-week probation period. I'm like happy with the work that you've done. I paid her. Yeah, and she was happy to obviously continue with me, and I was able to pay her while we're on the call as well. She was actually very, very grateful for that, which was, it was a nice feeling. Obviously, to, you know, even though, to be completely honest, it's not a lot of money because it's just obviously what I can afford with the business at the moment. It's still like great to know that someone's very appreciative for that, and yeah, you know, working hard for it. And, you know, there has been some mistakes that she's had in terms of, yeah, she's just like, she has made some mistakes, but a lot of that has been either me not explaining it well enough, or yeah, just simple things that I can catch up with during the time, and that's all, you know, part of the training period. So very happy to continue with her, and yeah, from the coming weeks, her kind of value in terms of what she'll be doing will be a lot higher, based on the fact that she'll be handling aesthetic clinics specifically. Because the one client that I have running for the last 2 weeks that she's been on has been like the psychotherapy client, which has like been really difficult to get like leads and people that will actually book, because obviously it's a premium service, but you're dealing with people that are just naturally extremely price sensitive, whereas the aesthetics field isn't really like that. People are in, it's a more established market where people are aware of the pricing that's involved, and also doesn't take too much education for them to become aware of why more premium pricing is worth and has the value that it does, because of the fact that, for example, there's a lot of botching that happens in the industry, and unregulated people that give cheap prices, but you know, it costs a lot more in the end and in the long run, because of, you know, how much damage they've done to someone essentially. So let me just go through this now. That was enough of me waffling about that. Let's go through 2026 goals and resolutions. As you would have seen in yesterday's video, if you watched that, I was kind of laughing about the fact that I actually started writing this document on the 25th of December, which is obviously Christmas Day, at 7:30 p.m. So I was clearly having a whale of a time there, thinking about my resolutions for the new year. Kind of made, I can see here from the version history that I made several updates up until about the 30th of December, where I left it there, obviously for the New Year's Eve on the 31st, which is when I was back here, and then I filmed the first video that you'll see on this channel on the 1st of January, where I was kind of explaining this series. So I've got here 2026 goals and resolutions. Start documenting every single day from the 1st of January on the Osmo, which is the camera that I've been using, by the way, and upload it to your channel. Well, that's something that I've been doing every single day. There's been like certain days, and like even now, to be completely honest, where I'm not recording it on the day that the video is for, but I'm still reflecting on the actions and things that happened in the day. And yeah, sometimes like things just happen where I mean, I can't like try and act like it's impossible for me to get out the camera and just like speak to it for 5 minutes, but yeah, I'm still reflecting on every single day that has passed and have uploaded a video for it, so on track with that. Here we go, chronology of the year. So originally the plan was that up until July I was going to be living here in Leamington. So, from now, I mean, it's like middle of April now, it would have been May, June and July. So another 3 months of, May, June and July where I would have been living here. What I've essentially done instead of that is built up myself a bit of a runway whereby I have all the rent already now put aside. And I also have an additional paycheck to come at the end of this month, which essentially will be what I'm living on, and some of like last month as well, so that when I move back home, I'll have like a lot more limited expenses from obviously living back home, and because I'm still paying the rent for here, it's even more limited until kind of August, September time, whereby I'll be paying obviously more rent there. And the idea is that with the business and obviously just through kind of grit and hard work on the business, I'll be in a better position by then. And if not, I mean, it's kind of like zero risk in a way, because the job that I have now is like, to be fair, it's not minimum wage. It is quite above minimum wage in a way. I mean, like with the new minimum wage, it's like less than £1 above minimum wage, and it's stocking shelves, so it's not exactly something crazy or anything like that I'm moving away from. It's not like the most difficult decision. So then it was like August, December, move back home, and then stay with my girlfriend in Paris. So that's still kind of like on track with that as well. It just means that I'll be at home in Essex, and then kind of from August time I'll be able to go to and from Paris, because I can't, or because I won't get a visa there, because it just doesn't really make sense to, because obviously I won't be like specifically living there. It becomes really difficult with like the address and stuff, because it would have to be like linked to my name as well. And I'd also have to start paying taxes in France. So I'm going to be based out of Essex and my parents' house there, and be able to stay. Essentially, the rules there is that you can stay there for 3 months out of every 6, essentially. So that'll be obviously the most that I can do. So yeah, I'm going to essentially probably the majority of the time use a service called Eurostar Snap, which is essentially where you can book tickets up to only 2 weeks in advance, which are like really basically tickets for Eurostar seats that haven't sold, and they're trying to sell them off cheap. And it's kind of within a time frame, so you can do a morning or an afternoon one. Usually the afternoon ones are kind of better. Otherwise, if they put you on the earliest one at 6 a.m, that means that you need to get into London for like 5, and then it becomes a bit difficult with trains and stuff. I mean, I think like from home that would actually be possible, but probably afternoons ones will be better, right? And then essentially 2 days before, they give you your seat and exactly which train you'll be going on, and then you can just plan it from there. And you can get really cheap tickets, such as like £35 each way, which is obviously very cheap given the fact that you literally get on a train for a couple of hours. Sorry, the SD card went out. But as I was saying, yeah, like what value to obviously be able to, yeah, just sit on a train. Obviously it has Wi-Fi. It's, you know, you don't have to go through like crazy airport security and stuff like that, and end up at an airport like 30 miles away from where you actually want to be. You know, the train is to and from exactly as is on the tin. And because of it, also is very beneficial for me to actually book a ticket that's quite last minute, because it means that I don't have to plan like crazy in advance just to be able to be like, okay, this weekend I'm going to go there, and I can see a few days ahead, even if it's 40, 50 quid, whatever. That's so much better than if you go on the actual website, where even when you're trying to book the tickets 2 months out, it's still not that price. So it makes complete sense. And like, I'm traveling on my own, so it doesn't matter what specific train that I get on or what seat I get, because I mean, who cares? Like, obviously with the business, it just means that I don't take meetings there, and I just plan my work around those timings. That's why it really works for me. And then, yeah, like I said, at the end of it, I end up in the heart of Paris. And she doesn't live too, like, well, she lives so central. That's like where the accommodation that she's like confirmed for herself. It's so central. It's even more central than Gare du Nord. Like another 10-15 minute metro into the actual city, closer to yeah, just right centrally basically. So yeah, I'll be able to obviously spend time there. I've just got the laptop and can work from there, and even on a very low budget, be able to kind of live the nomad lifestyle in a sense from quite quickly from when you're watching this in a few months' time. So that'll be great as well, and being able to get the business into the best position from that, like up until that point, will help even more. So my top 3 goals for the year: 10k a month revenue for the business. As you know, I kept on reminded every single video that you watch of this, you'll see that is the mark for it. In terms of how I broke that down, I did like a 90-day execution plan of like the start of the year, right? And because you're watching this on day 100, we've just passed that. So the day 90 was essentially, the success checkup was, have I hit a 3 to 5k month? And the answer to that is yes. I did 3.7 in March, which is obviously the end of March is day 90. 5+ clients, I've got 5, so that's good. And confidence that this can scale, I very much got that as well. So it looks like I'm pretty much like on track, essentially. In terms of like the 3 to 5k month, I guess I'm like more on the bottom half of it, but not really, kind of halfway through. 3.7, it's near enough 4. Yeah, and so really happy about that. There's, at the minute, like my profit is like, I just eat into all of it, because I'm just trying to put as much kind of testing and playing around with my own ads. I then have obviously inefficiencies where, like, for example, having the virtual assistant on for 2 weeks where she wasn't needed as much. So I had to pay that money, and just loads of things like that, where I'm not worried about trying to make loads of efficiencies and cut costs, because I have the revenue coming in. I just want to make sure that I give them the best service and make sure that the business is solid, and thereby meaning that I will be able to actually scale. Like I said, I'm not, you know, I'm not at the point where I'm scared to eat, scared of not being able to eat, or, you know, being homeless and stuff like that. And as long as that's never the case, then I, you know, really don't care at this point how much I'm able to pull out, if anything at all, because it's just not the focus at the minute, even though the revenue itself is fairly impressive, I guess, for my age. And, you know, I have complete confidence that leaving my job in kind of basically a week's time will mean that as soon as I get home, if I set the correct, like, you know, parameters for myself and make sure that I'm accountable and, you know, work hard every single day on it, I don't see why I can't, you know, double, triple and really take that to the moon, essentially. So I'm on track, essentially, from where the day 90 kind of success checkup was saying. It's saying essentially my daily work schedule was supposed to be like 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. if I was doing a 12-hour day, where there isn't obviously an Audi part-time shift. I've kind of moved that to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. When I'm working with UK clients, there's not a huge amount of benefit to me working up until 8 o'clock when I can just work earlier in the day. I much prefer to work when I wake up a bit earlier than into the evening. Obviously, working until 8, 9 or even 10 o'clock would be beneficial once I have American clients, because by 10 p.m, even in kind of in the center of the US, maybe even West Coast, it's kind of like, the middle of the day, or 2 p.m, something like that. So that would be helpful to take meetings there if I'm working late into the evening in the time zone that I'm in, obviously in the UK, but I'm not doing that essentially at the moment. So to do UK clients, it's beneficial for me to be working from 6 in the morning and then up until 6 p.m, which is kind of when everybody else is doing a 9 to 5, even if they stay another hour in clinic or something like that. If I don't reply to people or do any work essentially after 6 p.m, no one's going to be annoyed. But if it's kind of like 4 p.m, if I'm doing something like that, then it might be like, well, why couldn't you have replied to that? But essentially I had kind of like a weekly review template, which I'll be completely honest, I haven't been using, which is kind of like, have I completed this every week? How many leads and calls and clients did I get? I think I'm going to use that more as I go back home to, I think there's a lot to be said essentially in terms of, once I don't have the job anymore, keeping me stable, and I just have literally all of my time. I can decide what I spend my time doing, all of it. Complete time freedom essentially. Then it becomes a case of, okay, well, you want to take this to where you want to take it, then you need to be really thinking specifically about what you're doing, every day and every week, and what you achieved in that week to move you forward. Whether it did or not, did you put in the inputs? In terms of other goals, so that let's go through it. So full financial and location independence. So able to work remotely solely on the business. Essentially, I'm at that stage now. Not because financially it's keeping me there, but because I have a little bit of a runway, and because physically I can be anywhere in the world and run this, which is obviously great. No need for a part-time job. I'm obviously leaving it, so that's good. I've kind of achieved that earlier than what I even thought. Literally a month ago today, I think I was still thinking about, or maybe a couple of months ago in end of February, I was still thinking that I would be transferring to a store in Essex. And I just really didn't like that idea. I feel like for a number of reasons. I mean, I didn't want to work there. I didn't want to have to go to a new store and just it's like starting a new job essentially. Even though it's the same thing, it's obviously a completely different place, completely different people, and kind of had enough of starting new jobs and things like that. I'd rather just stick to this one because it's much more beneficial. Also, the fact I just don't want to be working there where that's kind of like my hometown as well. People come into shop or whatever. I just can't be asked to speak to people. Especially you see old school friends or whatever, and they're just kind of wondering what the hell happened. But no, I mean obviously I know, but still, I just thought if I didn't need to do that, I just really wouldn't want to. So it's good that I've been able to get there. And healthy life habits, so 8 hours of sleep. The gym, I haven't had a gym membership while I've been here, to be honest. I've been so busy just trying to work on the business and then doing my 20 hours a week as well. I haven't even except for actually this week and today I did go to go to and do a food shop at Audi with my girlfriend outside of finishing a shift and picking up a few bits. I've been doing that so much that I haven't even been going outside properly to even do a food shop, let alone like go to the gym. So yeah, a lot of time indoors at the minute. I'm trying to change that when I go back so that I'm not just, spending all day indoors rotting away. As, I can still work long hours and fit in the other stuff because I don't have those 20 hours a week, which is good. I was doing 6 months no alcohol at all. I'm on track with that. We're over 4 months into the year, and I haven't had any alcohol or anything really. Stop snacking. Now that's been a tricky one. I did a couple of months of it, and then I started convincing myself, like after a day of work, like you deserve this, and those kind of things. I'm still kind of like doing that now. I think there's a lot to be said about like moving back and like how my habits will really, again, like the idea of physically being in not a new location, because it's obviously like back home essentially, but in a new location essentially, in a different location. I've got nothing like to distract me, and I feel like I'm just like really excited for that in a way, like just to like push me forward, and so that I can even take control of these little things like stop snacking and have a better diet, and maybe even start a gym membership again, because I have the time and I have the new the different environment essentially to help me do those things. Reduce social media screen time. So at the start of the year, I was really struggling with that still, even though I set it as a resolution. So I just deleted all the apps from my phone, essentially. And that's meant that my social media screen time is extremely low. So screen time on my phone is like extremely low. Like I barely use the thing. Like sometimes I'll look at it and like, it's kind of like I'm on like 3% on the phone because I just haven't charged it in ages. And I'll only kind of realise when I'm at like work, and if it's like before or after the store opens and closes, I might play some music and realise that it's like on the verge of dying. I think that's obviously like the two reasons for that. Like my girlfriend's been with me a lot recently during her break, so that's like the main thing I kind of use my phone for, to like obviously message her. And the biggest thing with the screen time is actually that I'm just watching like loads of YouTube on my laptop, like to this day. So I have a thing called cold turkey blocker where I can click it on and it just stops all distractions, and I can lock it so there's no way of getting onto those websites. So for example, when I upload these, I go onto YouTube Studio, that's unblocked even when me watching YouTube videos is blocked. So I've been using that, and that's been helpful. And then my third resolution, which isn't really a resolution, but save a 6-month runway by July. So essentially by July, I wanted a runway of 6 months. Now, from now, I can, it's hard to say like runway, because I guess what I meant by it is like live exactly the same as I am now, but without needing the income, essentially. That's obviously what a runway is. So the thing is, like, because I'm living like fairly basically, like I have a takeaway, quite rarely. Other than that, I eat the food that I get from like the cheapest supermarket, and that's about it. Other than transport to and from Birmingham, like, I don't really spend much, and like that on its own does add up. But I've been able to put lots of money into the business while I've been here as well, and into savings, because my income was always a lot higher than my base expenses. Because I just don't think it doesn't cost a lot when you're working like 12 hours a day and eating home cooked meals, and then a lot of the kind of entertainment while like me and my girlfriend are busy like doing our own work is just kind of like spending time together, watching things, going on walks. Like we have meals every now and then, but there are budget ways of doing that as well. So I'd say that in terms of, I can live like 6 months essentially now, but I would like by July to be able to have it where I can genuinely live 6 months by, having a gym membership, being able to get myself some nice food every week, go to and from Paris like a couple of times a month, stuff like that, where I could physically do that for 6 months without needing any income. so that I am safe from that, because physically I would run out of money at some point, obviously at the moment. Because the savings aren't huge, but because the expenses are so low, that's what makes it possible, essentially. But yeah, for me to live something like more comfortably, I don't have that runway yet, but that was by July, and I've still got, again, April, May and June. It's middle of April, but I've got the whole of May and June. And if I say by the end of July, I've got the whole of July as well. So I've still got like another 3.5 months to get that sorted. And then there was like action-based resolutions around essentially just the business, a lot of stuff around mindset as well, which I've been getting like some really good books, getting into a lot of things again about, revisiting, even today, like some information around Stoicism when I was kind of like reading those books, like Meditations, for example, by Marcus Aurelius. Psycho-Cybernetics is a really good book that, to be honest, I'm still not even halfway through, but it's been really good so far, and really enjoying that. Here's the 6 month safety again. Yeah, my kind of thing with the health as well is like having meals and food shops kind of for weeks in advance, knowing what I'm doing and having the 3 gym sessions. Like my health, in a sense, like I've been eating home cooked food and I've been trying to keep to 8 hours a day sleep. Sometimes it's not been that, and it has been lower. Because of like, but I feel that in a week's time I won't have a job, and therefore I can just take control of all of this again. And any time I fall below it, then there's no, it's no one's fault other than my own, essentially, because there's nothing. But yeah, this has been a very long video, but that's essentially my entire 2026 goals and resolutions document. In terms of the day 90 update, I'm kind of thereabouts with the targets, and I think that I didn't actually create a kind of like halfway through the year, like a 6 month where I want to be, but I think, by the end of by the end of June, and especially by the end of July going into August, I think I could be in a really good place, especially not having to have a job and not essentially having much to do apart from work, and prepare to be in a better position to go, to go and spend time in Paris, and to go have the more freedom, essentially. I kind of limit the amount that I do until kind of August time, and that's a lot of time for me to be able to lock in and get it all sorted. But I remember at the start of the year, I was kind of not completely believing that was going to be possible, but now seeing that actually it is, and I am going to be able to get there, is a very good and positive feeling that already I'm in a position where, without any additional income, as long as I'm not stupid with my money up until August, I will be able to still be able to go there and get tickets there, even if I personally earn no money. I will run out at the minute, and that's what the motivation is towards the business, and obviously continuing to go and do work into April in terms of the part-time job, rather than just, I was thinking that I was going to end it by the end of March at one point, because it was physically possible. Like I could pay off everything now, but it would mean that I'd have nothing left. So that's why, there's not much more that I can say. I've spoken enough and gone over the same points. But there's day 100. That was a very long video, probably one of the longest I've done on the channel, but it was a full audit of this year, this year so far, what I want to achieve by the end of it, and what I expected to achieve by this point of the year, and the fact that I'm pretty much there. So I should stop worrying so much. But it's just what you do, obviously, when you're trying to achieve something, and the goalposts always move, but you have to learn as time goes on to get better at that, and I shall. But there we go.